Greetings, Allegiant Forces. I'm Lord Commissar Ruler Zygmunt Zeiss's intern. If you're receiving this message, it's because we've had some new information come to light in regards to locating a suitable reactor core for your ship. Allow me to get right into things. Here's the footage that our intel team gathered. Thanks to a collaborative effort between them, the nuclear sniffer teams, and the engineer teams, we were able to identify one single operations zone. You should begin to see it now. Here is the side of the operations area that you will all deploy from. Some background for you all. This is an area that has seen a lot of bloodshed, as it lies directly in between the Van Saar and NAC front lines, making it a hotspot for conflict. This spot was formerly part of the Kobuk National Preserve before being purchased by Whitestone Housing. They have since converted it to a residential area designed for fracking companies to rent out, in order to house employees so that they could live as close to the site as possible. A small megabuilding was mid-construction before the land became a skirmish point between both sides of the conflict. Most everyone living here either abandoned their homes or died defending them. This is the mech we've identified, a custom-made large-frame VS Arctic King Crab. Formerly under the command of Colonel Dynex, this beast of a machine acted as the spearhead of the VS front line in this area. While the main core has since been stripped, the auxiliary core, a smaller one designed for emergency use, still remains and is perfect for your needs. Here's the course of action based on some rough schematics the engineering team put together. One of you will be designated with the role of panel operator. This person will need to open the emergency hatch at the top of the mech and enter it. Once inside, you'll have to locate the King Crab's operation manual and turn to pages 628 to 633. From there, you'll need to access wiring panel GB308, which is sandwiched between the main command console and the engine readout console. Once you have access to the wiring panel, you'll work with the engineering team and utilize the manual in order to rewire certain parts of the mech. This should allow us to essentially restart the mech and have it utilize the auxiliary core. Once this is done, we can begin the core ejection sequence, which will also be another series of rewires. Don't worry about having to read through the entire manual. The engineering team can see everything that you can and will point out exactly which panels you'll need to use. There's one more piece of information that the panel operator needs to know. In case of a complete core meltdown, you will need to scram it in order to prevent a total criticality incident. SCRAM stands for Single Control Rod Axeman. If this reactor goes beyond critical and explodes, it will mean certain doom for all of you. In the event that the reactor core goes critical, proceed to the scram closet located behind the main cockpit shaft. You should find an axe and 5 steel cables. These steel cables suspend 5 boron rods above the reactor. Cutting them all will disconnect the suspension system and plunge the boron rods into the reactor, poisoning the core, disabling the criticality reaction, and activating the emergency self-release, at which point a controlled explosive system will forcibly eject the core from the mech. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why don't we just open with that? Under no circumstances can that be done. This procedure is to be used in emergencies only, as it will cause severe damage to the reactor and will, in all likelihood, result in serious radiation exposure to the panel operator. Everyone else, except for one person, will be designated as the Transport and Protection Team. The core will be too difficult to transport by air, so you'll need to locate one of 2 industrial hover carts in the area and move them into position behind the mech. Once in position, give the signal to the panel operator to complete the final rewire sequence. Once the sequence is complete, you'll use the hover cart to catch the core and bring it back to the start of the operations zone. There is one problem, however. We have a rogue agent on our hands. Located in the uncompleted megabuilding lies a sniper of unknown origin. We gather that the individual is testing a piece of equipment because somehow they managed to shoot down one of our observation satellites in orbit. This is where the last man comes into play. They will be designated as the Cleaner. Their sole responsibility is to identify which floor the sniper is located on, make their way to the mega building and clear out the sniper's nest. This must be done prior to the core ejection. If the sniper hits the core, it is guaranteed to immediately go supercritical and explode. A final note for everybody. Utilize every element of the battlefield that you possibly can. A lot of this equipment was abandoned mid-fight, so I'd be willing to wager that most of it operates, at least to some degree. We can neither confirm nor deny if any backup is going to arrive once you guys start up the mech. These things are directly connected to the Vansar servers, so I'm sure somebody's going to notice something going on when a mech that has been out of commission for months is suddenly powered on again. Regardless, that's pretty much all we have for you right now. Pick your designated panel operator and cleaner within the next 24 hours, and we'll get things underway on our end. Over and out.